Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being on our call tonight. It is the November 9th Team Next Generation call tonight. We have a huge special guest that you probably, or maybe you caught the last call, maybe you didn't, but we had the pleasure of having her on one of her calls just about a year ago, isn't it, Ashley? About a year ago?
I don't even know, probably.
Yeah, just right after the holidays.
Yeah.
It was people talked about it for weeks afterwards. They loved it. I'm actually not normally, you guys, you know how it goes. We kind of have tell a little bit about the speaker and kind of give you a little bit of insight into, their accomplishments and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm actually not going to get into that because if I'm correct, I don't want to take any of the thunder away from your talk tonight. And I know you're going to be talking about a lot of kind of like your story and what's going on. So I don't know what you're going to talk about. So I'm just going to kind of say, if you guys have not seen, I know a lot of you follow Foodie Fitness. So if you have not, is it Foodie Fitness or Foodie Girl Fitness?
Foodie Girl Fitness.
Foodie Girl Fitness, I'm sorry. I know a lot of you follow that. If you're not, definitely check that out. And otherwise, I'm going to let her talk about her because she's got an incredible story and I'm excited for you guys to hear it. So I'm going to let you take it away for us, Ashley.
Okay, cool. So, hi guys. Just really quick, how many of you were on that call last year? Okay. Yeah, I know, just obviously you do. Okay, Natalie and Jessica. Okay, cool. And then, so we'll talk about that, why I asked that question at the end. But I'm going to share my screen with you. First, before I do that, want to let you know I am a huge fan of questions. So as I'm talking, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the talk that I did for Dallas, but I only had 15 minutes to talk when I was in Dallas. So I might be able to go a little bit deeper into some of these things tonight, but also then, of course, if you have any questions at the end. So just keep that in mind as you're listening to talk. But I'm going to share my screen because this is the presentation that I had, that I did for Dallas. So can y'all see me? Can you see my screen? Yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm just going to talk with you a little bit about my story, and then I'm going to go into some of the truths that I have learned along the way. So my journey with Beachbody started in 2012. What is that, 4 years ago? 4 years ago, I was wanting to get in shape for my wedding, and my sister-in-law had done a private insanity accountability group with Danielle Fit and Funky, and she had amazing results. And since I was wanting to get in shape for my wedding, I asked her what she did, and she said, I just push play every day, I drank a shake, and I traded my beer for vodka water. And if you follow me, you know, and if you follow me, you might have already seen me talk about this in Dallas because it was posted on my page. But if you follow me, you know that part of my brand is drinking. So the fact that she saw amazing results and could still enjoy her celebrations was a huge selling point for me. And also at this time as a group fitness junkie, I loved being able to go to a gym and have someone tell me what to do and how long to do it for and just not think about anything. But the problem with that was if something came up, like a meeting ran long or there was plans after work or something was scheduled last minute and I couldn't make it to the class that I had planned to go to, oftentimes I just wouldn't get my workout in at all. So I love that this kind of brought that group fitness thing into my home and I could decide when class was in session, right? So I joined her boot camp in 2012. I think it was the summer of 2012. And I loved it. I totally fell in love with working out at home and on my time. I love the community. I wasn't totally sold on Shakeology yet. That took me a little bit more time to come around with Shakeology, but I knew that I was going to continue to do more and more workout programs, at least with Beachbody. And so I'm a bargain shopper and I decided to sign up for a discount. Side note, when I very first bought the program, it was $205. We didn't offer those, $140 I don't think was a price that we had for any of our stuff back then. So it was $205, was not on sale, but I did it. And she said, well, if you're going to buy the challenge pack, you might as well sign up to be a coach. And I was super resistant to it. I was like, no way, that's gross and icky. And I'm not, my parents had done this thing called Melaleuca. If you guys have heard of it, it's another multi-level marketing thing. So they did it growing up, and I just thought it was gross. Like, we had people come into our home and they just show us all these, like, did this party and show us all these things. And then my parents bought a crap ton of product and then couldn't sell it, and then it just fizzled out. And I just was not into it. So I was turned off by the whole coach thing. And she didn't press me on it. And I just did her group, loved it, had amazing results, felt really good about it. And like I said, knew I wanted to do more. So I signed up as a discount. Strictly for the discount, had no intention of ever working this business, but luckily she had placed me in the team page of Fit and Funky. And so I kind of just lurked behind the scenes. And in January of 2013 is when I saw all these videos from Super Saturday. And that was also the year that Danielle, the team that I'm on, she was awarded top 10. And I just, like, my wheels started turning, and I just started thinking, like, maybe I could do something with this. So I messaged my coach who invited me to this business, and I told her I want to see what I can do with it. And she was really new. She didn't work the business then. She doesn't work it now. So she was like, okay, cool, go for it. But she didn't have any training to plug me into. Back then, Danielle was not doing any training. There was really nothing. So what I did was, when I was working at Nike, and at this time my full-time job was Nike, which I thought was my dream job. Like, that is what I had always wanted to be. And I don't know how many of you are from Portland, but it's, the headquarters are here, and I just grew up, it's like a household name. And then I went to the University of Oregon, and Nike is everywhere down there because Phil Knight is, a huge donor for the University of Oregon. And so I just always wanted to work at Nike. I finally got that job there, and I thought, like, I had made it. And that was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I just was super stoked to be working at Nike and had finally made my dreams come true, until I found Beachbody. And that kind of turned everything on its head. And so while I was working at Nike, I had decided I wanted to start seeing what I could do with this Beachbody thing. And I would have, like, a spreadsheet up on my computer, and I would just be listening to all the wake-up calls. Just always had my headphones in and was listening to wake-up calls. So basically how I learned how to do everything in this business was through those wake-up calls or YouTube videos or Google, because I didn't have a coach that was mentoring me or training me how to do anything. So I opened my team page, or I opened my like page, my Foodie Girl Fitness page, because I was way too embarrassed to be sharing my journey on my personal page, because I've always been very insecure, and was dealing with just battling mental things of, what will people think of me, and will I turn people off, and are people going to think I'm trying to sell things, blah, 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 blah. So I thought, if I open a separate page, only the people that care about this will come over there. So I showed up every day on that page, because I heard on the team calls, it's what you have to do. I heard a call from Melissa McAllister, who said you have to host a challenge group every single month if you want to hit Success Club. I knew Success Club was important. So I started doing those things. I started sharing my journey really transparently on that page. I shared my insanity before and after, and I was doing an Ultimate Reset at the time. So I was sharing all of that. And I started getting a lot of people asking me questions about what I was doing. And I started being able to help people. And I think I hit Success Club that first month that I was a coach, and then I continued to hit Success Club. And about middle of that year, like June-ish, I started having some medical issues, and I was dealing with migraines every single day. And for someone, chronic pain of any kind, but especially head chronic pain, is linked to depression. And so for someone who was insecure her whole life, I already had felt like I'd gone in and out of bouts of depression, but then to have this chronic pain, and then at my dream job with Nike, it was a great job, but I was working with a team of women who were really awful to me. They made fun of me to my face and behind my back. They all liked my page, my Foodie Girl page, but they would all make fun of me, and I could hear them, and they would, I heard a bunch of things that were said, and they would have all group outings. Like, they would all do stuff as a team, and I would be the only one not invited. And so the head pain, coupled with my insecurity, coupled with a team who was really awful to me, led to a really bad situation. And at the end of 2013, I was in the worst place I've ever been in mentally. I was really depressed. I ended up getting suicidal, and I cried every day, and I felt like I didn't belong in anyone's life or on this planet. And I don't know how many people have dealt with serious mental illness, but I have a friend who We know someone that committed suicide, and she's of the mind that suicide is selfish. And I think we've heard that a lot, right? But if you have actually been suicidal, you're not thinking that I wasn't thinking I want to get out of pain. I was thinking the people that I love the most, like my husband and my dad and my best friends and my sister, like they would be better off without me. So it wasn't me being selfish saying I'm in pain, I don't want to live anymore. It was, I don't want them to have to be dragged down by me. I was in a really bad spot. And thankfully, I still had Beachbody. I was in and out of doctor's offices, and finally towards the end of that year, I figured out what was going on with my head. We got that under control. I got a new group. I switched jobs at Nike, and I started working with a much better group who was much more supportive. And that the beginning of 2014 is when I decided that I was going to, everyone was talking all these amazing things about personal development. And here I was thinking like, oh, I don't need that. Meanwhile, I'm depressed and suicidal. Oh, I don't need personal development. And, but 2014 was my resolution of, if all these people are saying this, I'm going to give myself 30 days. For 30 days, I'm going to do personal development every day and see if it makes a difference. Side note, that's also how I decided that I liked Shakeology, because I didn't really believe in it. And then I was like hearing all these people rave about it. And I said, okay, well, I'll give myself 30 days. I'll drink it every single day for 30 days and I'll see if I notice a difference. And I've never looked back on that. And also personal development like helped me so much with healing my brain. So then we are now in January 2014. I decided to really go all in with this. And I was still, I had stopped hitting Success Club because I couldn't really do anything. I was just in such a crappy spot in my brain. I had gained weight and it was whatever. So in 2014, I decided I'm going to take care of me again. I committed back to a program and drinking Shakeology every day and doing personal development. I reached out finally for help. And I asked Danielle, how do you build a team? Like, how do you sign coaches? And she helped me with that. So I started building a team. And so even though I joined in 2012, I feel like I really started as a coach in 2014. And in 2014, I ended up matching my salary at Nike that year. And we ended as a 3-star premier team. And then 2015, I went to Summit and I learned there, like, if I'm going to go all in with this, I have to go all in. And I was way surpassing by this point, which was like July of 2015. So a year and a half or so into really working the business, I was way surpassing. I was making in a week what I would make all month at Nike. And so I came home and I decided I need to fire my boss. And I left my dream job that I worked so hard to get and to finally live like actually my passion and my purpose. And then we ended 2015 as an elite team, 6-star team, and we're making 6 figures. And we ended at like number 43 in the network or something like that. So I just wanted to share with you, because we all start from different places and we all have different like battles or hurdles that we're trying to, overcome. But I just wanted to share with you like what my story is and where I came from. When I started this, I was depressed. I was insecure. I've been insecure my whole life. The depression was like more as I got older, but I was insecure my whole life. We were in debt. Like we had a ton of credit card debt and of course student loans and car payments and all those things. And even though we were in debt, we were still putting more on the credit card every single month because I was trying to live a life that like my friends were living. So I was living outside my means. Everything was going on credit cards. We had nothing in savings. We were paycheck to paycheck. And I was just checking boxes because I was told, like everyone in my family, you go to high school, then you go to college, then you get a job, and then you climb the ladder. And you do that until you die. You just climb the ladder. And that's what everyone in my family had done. So I've gotten a lot of pushback from my grandparents and my parents, like, are you sure? And they still ask me with so much concern, like, how is that thing going? Is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's great, But I didn't have a lot of like family support. But now, because of Beachbody, I am happier than I've ever been. I don't battle with depression at all. When there are times when I start feeling a tug, it's usually because I've stopped doing personal development or stopped showing up for me. We paid off all of our debt. I am now my own boss. We have money that we get to invest. Like this is a life we never had before. And it's a life I didn't even dream of. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had no idea that I ever could be. And I say all this to say, like, it doesn't matter where you are right now. If you are determined to make it, you can make this business work for you. So now I want to share with you a few truths that I have learned along the way. So truth number one is it's going to be hard. And I don't have to tell you guys that because I know that you know. This business, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done, but it is also hard. There are going to be lots of times where you will want to quit, where you will think that you're not cut out to be a coach, and you're going to hear a lot more no's. And this time of year especially, you hear more no's, or your conversations turn to crickets, or you miss a month of Success Club and you feel like you're terrible. But just know that it's going to be hard, and know that if you are on the right path, it will always be uphill. And there are times where I have wanted to quit. There's been like 3 or 4 solid times where I've really actually considered it, not just like, oh, this is hard, like where I've really thought, could I do this? And then can I do this? And then I think, like, I had such vision for this that I would think, like, can I do this? And then I would think, what's the alternative? The alternative is that I go back to work, and I go back to working for someone else's dreams. And the harder I work, the more they get. You don't get, like, at corporate, it wasn't the harder you work, the more I get. The harder I work, the more the company gets. And then I climb the ladder, and I'm not good at playing that game. So I think to myself, like, what's the alternative of when I quit? And I would rather hustle 24/7 for my dreams and my family's future than slave 9 to 5 for someone else's. And ask yourself, the next time you want to quit or that you doubt yourself, I want you to ask yourself, like, if I didn't amount to anything that Beachbody recognized as successful, would I be a better me because of this experience? So if you don't hit Success Club, or you don't rank advanced, or you don't have, you're not recruiting a lot of people, or your volume's not whatever, your paychecks, like all these things that Beachbody recognizes as success, are you a better you for having this in your life? Because most of us signed up because we love the products. And I know even if this didn't become my full-time job and I wasn't able to do all those things like pay off debt and, fire my boss, and that, even if I didn't have that, I'm a better me because of Shakeology, and because of our workout programs, and because of the community, and because of it being our job to work on ourselves. Like, personal development saved me. All those things saved me. So before you decide to give up or submit your cancellation, I want you to think, am I a better me just for having this in my life, regardless of what Beachbody recognizes as success? Okay, truth number 2. Be who you are. Now, I mentioned that part of my brand has become drinking, and I kind of play that up a lot more, but I really do like to drink. I like to party. That's in my blood. It is in my genes. My whole family likes to drink. Right now, it just so happens we're doing a detox until Thanksgiving, but that doesn't usually happen, and drinking is a part of my brand. I am a health and fitness coach who made drinking a part of her brand. And the more honest I was about the things that made me me, because another thing I like is the F word. So whoever it was that was saying the F word, when you get on, like, that's part of me as well. And I'm going to turn people off. There are going to be people that come to my page and they think, well, that's a recipe. Oh, this looks interesting. I'm going to like my page. And then when I drop an F-bomb, they're going to say, no, this isn't for me, and they're going to leave. And I'm all about getting unlikes on my page. Like, I love it, actually. I didn't used to, but now I realize, and Gary Vee said something at Summit, he said it's something like, it's not about the number of likes you have, it's about the number of likes you have who care. So if someone's unliking my page, then they're not my tribe. And there's going to be someone out there for them that doesn't swear and doesn't drink and does all these things. Like, don't you think Melanie Mitchell probably attracts a totally different client than I do? Perfect. And we both need to exist, because there are people that need me that don't relate to Melanie, and there's people that need Melanie that don't relate to me. And there are people that need you that don't relate to anybody else. So the quicker you can be who you are and embrace that, the faster you will really build a tribe, or like Shalene calls them, the lifers. As soon as I started talking about depression, people trusted me then. And when I talked about drinking and how, like, if I exist and I want to be healthy, but I also like to drink and party, there are other people out there who want to live that lifestyle too. And I see several of you drinking wine on this call, which means you probably resonate with that. So I think whatever it is that makes you you, if you're a mom, you should share that you're a mom. Yeah, I see. It doesn't show your name, but I see you. If you're a mom, like share that you're a mom. If you like to cuss, then do that. If you like to drink, then do that. If you don't, and you're really, like, I'm not religious at all, but there are lots of people who do really well talking about their faith in Jesus and God. So whatever it is that makes you you, you're not just a fitness coach. You are not here selling shakes and workout programs. At the end of the day, you're selling you. And so the more transparent you can be, the deeper connection you're going to have with your followers. And if people want to buy our programs, they can go anywhere to do that. They can borrow it from a friend or Rip It or Amazon, eBay, Beachbody.com. They can do anything, but you are the only place they can get you. So you just need to remember that you will never influence anybody, let alone the world, by trying to be like it. So build your brand around who you are, and know that people are going to not like that. There are going to be people that don't like it. When I started talking about being suicidal, I made a video the first time I talked about it. I think I lost like 15 likes. And I just thought, if you can't handle me talking about suicide and my mental battles, then you're definitely not going to like the rest of me, So it's okay that people are going to unlike your page or whatever, because the people that unlike your page are not for you. But the more transparent you get, the more close people are going to feel, and they're going to trust you, and then they're going to invest with you because they trust who you are as a person. So you're not just a fitness coach. Okay, truth number 3. Excuses are the fastest way to failure, and we all make them. We all say, like, I don't know enough people, or I don't have enough time to build this business, or you haven't reached your goal body. For every excuse that you're going to make, there is a top coach out there who could have made that same excuse and chose not to. So if you don't know enough people, I think about Mindy Winder, who started, I haven't listened to her call in years talk about this, but I believe it was like less than 100 friends on Facebook and lived in a town with one stoplight. She didn't know people. She is in the Million Club and is a superstar coach now. If you feel like you're not at your goal body and you don't have abs, Coach Tulin is rocking the plus size fitness right now. And then also conversely, if you think, well, people can't relate to me because I do have abs, my coach, Danielle, Fit and Funky, she has not had a physical transformation, but she has had a financial and an emotional one. And she's always had abs, and she is in the Million Club and is a superstar diamond coach. If you think you don't have time, there are coaches out there I have a coach on my team who worked 3 jobs and she has 2 kids, and she still is a star diamond coach. She's just making it work, right? Like, what if you don't have volume, or you're placed in a crappy spot in the downline? That's my situation. I get nothing. I was placed on an inside leg of my coach who doesn't work the business. So everything that I have built, my 6-figure income, is from me and my team. Would it be great if I had volume that was given to me? Yeah. But that's not a reason to not be successful. Lindsay Matt was the same way, and she's like a multimillionaire, like insanely successful. So every excuse you are making for yourself for why you are not going to be successful or why you can't be successful that's a choice you are making. Because like I said, there is a coach out there for every excuse you can come up with that could have used that excuse and didn't. So I believe everyone on this call can be successful, but you have to decide that you're going to be successful. Okay, truth number 4, your life only gets better when you do. I think it is a huge benefit that literally on our job description is to work on ourselves. That's our number 1 priority, is to take care of ourselves, is to be proof that the products work, which means we have to work out every day and drink our shake and do the meal plan and take care of ourselves. Another part is doing personal development and working on your brain. Like, I worked at Nike, which is also a sports fitness company. They didn't give a crap about how healthy I was mentally or physically. They don't care. It's a blessing that this is part of our job. And the only way to grow your business is to grow yourself. So you have to work on you first. And I think personal development for me should be tied as the number 1 and 1 vital behavior with being proof that the products work. I definitely think you need to work out every day. I think you need to push play and drink your shake. But I also really think personal development needs to happen every single day, because we have been trained our whole lives to care what people think about us. and we have been trained to care what size we are and how we show up on social media and this election thing, like everybody, it's normal to complain. That's what everybody else is doing, is complaining right now. But that's not what we're doing. We're retraining our brain to see the positive in everything. So your life is only going to get better when you do. And so work on yourself and the rest will follow. It's not our job to get everybody to become part of Beachbody. It's not in your job description to sell Beachbody or to be a top coach or to recruit X amount of people. That's not in your job description. I have my page, and what my job is and what is your job is to be the best you that you can be, to find that inner light and let it shine. So I'm going to show up every day, and I'm going to do the workouts and then drink the shake, and I'm going to read personal development, and I'm going to share that on my page, and I'm going to share what worked for me. But if that inspires someone to join a gym, that still is a win. It's not about how many people are going to purchase from me, how many Success Club points I'm going to get. I am here to inspire people, and this is what you're here for too, inspire people to live their best lives. And the only way to do that is by living your best life first. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to be your customer. I'm not desperate for Success Club points. I'm not desperate for new coaches on my team. I am desperate for people to find what lights them up, what makes them happy, what makes them live their best life, and then have them go do it. And if I can help them, absolutely. Like, I have groups every month. I have a team. I have all these things that I can help them if my system's what's going to work for them. But if it's not, and they want to go sign up for a marathon, or they just decide that they're going to go on Pinterest and find a meal plan that shows them how to eat clean or whatever, that is still a win, guys. Our job is not to make everybody love Beachbody. Our job is to love Beachbody ourselves and then share that with other people and just inspire people to live their best lives. Okay, truth number 5. I love this one. You're going to die. And the reason I put this in here is because I think we live like we get to do this a few times. Like, we get a do-over. Like, well, I'm a little too worried what people think about me right now, so I'm going to live my life for them and not for me, but I'll come back and do it for me later. Like, that doesn't happen. One day you're going to die, and none of your fears will have mattered. What will matter is how you lived. So I want you to live life on your terms. You're going to have haters. You're going to have people that come out and they're going to make fun of you. You're going to have people that love you come out and make fun of you or not be supportive on your journey. You're going to have close friends who end up going and doing Herbalife or buying. What if they buy like a Beachbody program on Amazon? Like, there are going to be things that are going to hurt you, but it doesn't matter because you are living your best life and you are going to inspire a ton of other people. And 2 years from now, when you're a 6-figure earner, do you think it matters that they thought that you were going to fail or that you looked stupid or that they thought you were selling something? Like, when someone tells me that, I went live on my page the other day because I got a message from someone who said, do you really think Shakeology is that important? And I'm really asking your opinion, not your coach opinion, because I know that you get paid for these things. So do you really think Shakeology, can you be real with me? And I was like, excuse me, asshole. Like, I don't put anything on my page that I don't believe in, right? Like, I'm not here to sell anything. The reason that I do this is because it's what worked for me. I was depressed and tried every diet and I lived in a body I hated. Like, I showed up at 130 pounds to Weight Watchers meetings and I got judged by everybody there because I wasn't overweight, but I hated the body I was living in, and this is what worked. So me showing up and sharing what worked is going to help other people. Do I still have my brother-in-law saying that I'm going to fail and that this isn't sustainable and it's not a long-term success story? Sure. Guess what else is happening? I fired my boss and my husband just came home. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks because they don't pay your bills and they are not changing the lives that you're going to change. So your fear of looking dumb is wasting your time. I want you to dream big. I want you to work hard. And I want you to decide that joy is important. I want you to take your joy seriously and remember why we're here. It's not to sell things. It's not because you're a fitness coach. It's not to make money. It's your job is to live your best life and share that with other people and inspire other people to live their best lives too. And that is my whole presentation. And then we can do Q&A or whatever you guys feel like would be helpful. Or I can elaborate on it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions now, and so I definitely want to get into that. First of all, like, how many people just, like, I know my hand will be raised. How many people just felt like, man, that's what you needed to hear right this second? And I know anybody that does not raise their hand right now needs to be raising their hand, because so what you don't know actually is we got to do a push group, and we just had people, a lot of people on this call that actually filled out a little questionnaire, and part of that questionnaire was asking, like, what are you struggling with right now, and da-da-da-da. And so I know, like, because I've read all of them, I just got done reading them. I've read all those answers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're hitting on every single one of the questions, or the struggles, like, dead on. I mean, that was awesome. That was absolutely epic. So I appreciate that. What do you guys, let me just go back. What do you guys have? Who's got questions? Let's steal as much opportunity as we can here. Megan. Hold on a second.
I was looking for it. So I always have questions. I take notes while you guys are talking. So I feel like I'm kind of relating with you right now with where you were, as far as like some of the stress and the mental stuff. I'm not suicidal, but like I'm just kind of really struggling. And I think a lot of it is just with balance and just all the other things I have going on. And so I've been trying to I listen to a lot of YouTube, but some of the personal development that I'm listening to isn't really, so when I listened to You're a Badass, like it was like life-changing for me, but I don't really want to listen to it again quite a few times. So I'm kind of curious what personal development books you would recommend that.
Have you gotten on the Gary Vee train at all?
No.
I can't even, like, if this resonated with you, you need Gary Vee in your life. And my favorite is Ask Gary Vee on audio. Okay, yeah, jab, 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 right hook. I didn't get that on audio. I read it. Now I wish I would have gotten it on audio. He drops a lot of F-bombs, but he's just real, and he just talks about, like, he just spits it straight. So Ask Gary Vee on audio is, like, I'm massively obsessed with it. But I also found out that he has a podcast. So he has on the podcast app, and now I listen to those every day. He has his Ask Gary Vee show, but he also has keynotes that he's done for all kinds of other companies. So he does sometimes repeat himself if I'm listening to, like, I listen to everything. But if I'm ever, like right now, I feel more motivation in the fourth quarter than I did in January of this year. And I was in really good shape in January because I was doing Hammer and Chisel. Like, I felt amazing, and that's supposed to be like the time to capitalize in this business. I have more motivation in the fourth quarter than I did in the beginning of this year because of Gary Vee, because he just reminds you, like, what matters, and to hustle and to work and whatever. So that is my, like, major obsession right now. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, I loved You Are a Badass. I still read that sometimes. But Gary Vee has been, like, everything. Hold on, let me look up my thing. But if you're going to get Ask Gary Vee, for sure get on Audible. Don't get it on, don't get it in the book, because he gives you he ad-libs basically. Like, I think what happened in the book, I'm guessing, he answers the question and then they transcribe it. I'm guessing is what happens. But on Audible, he's not actually reading a book. Like, he's asked the question and then he answers it for you, like, in real time. And so he ad-libs, and he says a lot, like, oh, and this is a bonus that only you Audible people will get. So anyway, I'm just super down with that. The 10X rule, I don't know if you've done that one yet with Grant Cardone. That one was really good, but it will make you feel like you are doing, like, you could build a house in a day and you would be like, that's not good enough. Like, it really does light a fire, but so I take it with a grain of salt. I really like Rising Strong by Brene Brown. Anything by Brene Brown is really good, especially if you're dealing with, like, insecurities or vulnerabilities or whatever. Brene Brown's really good. The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. I loved that book. Big Magic was really good by Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know. Those are a few. But right now I'm super on the Gary Vee train.
That's awesome.
Okay. One more question. This might be a long one, so you don't have to answer it, I guess. I was wondering what your power hour looked like as far as how you delegate your time, or do you do it all day?
I don't really have a power hour now because this is what I do full time. So I just kind of like do whatever works for me. But I will tell you what I did when I worked full time. Like when I had a job and then I also did this, because I think that that's maybe more relatable. Even if you're not working, I don't know if there's some stay-at-home moms here, you're still working around other obligations, right? Like your kids and stuff. So what I would do when I was working full time, I woke up early and I would make a motivational post first thing in the morning. I would then push play and I would record myself or take picture or whatever I wanted to during that workout. I would listen to personal development while I was getting ready in the morning, and then I would make my shake. And on my way to work, I was lucky that I got to walk to work. But if you take a train or like, I don't know, I made a post on my way into work. So I know not everyone can do that if you're driving, but you can maybe while you're driving, listen to personal development and be thinking about what you want to say for your post. But I would make my workout post on my way into work, and then I would post that. And then I would work during the day, and then at lunchtime I would post something else. So that would be my third post of the day publicly, and it would either be like what I had for lunch or something funny or whatever. And then I work the second half of the day, and then at night on my way home I would make another post. A lot of times I used to do this thing called walk and talk, so I would film myself and put that up, or it would be a recipe or something like that. So that would be my fifth post of the day, or fourth or fifth post of the day. And then on the way home, that's also when I would either schedule calls, like if people wanted to know what coaching was, I would, do one-on-one calls or talk to my new coaches. I would do those from like 5 to 6. And then I would come home and do whatever I was doing, make dinner, hang out with the hubs, whatever. And then from like maybe whatever, I would usually do 2 hours at night of messages. So I would respond to all my messages or start new conversations if I didn't have a lot of messages to respond to. And I would give myself a window. And then by like 10, I would say, okay, it's shut down. And then I didn't answer any of my messages until that time that I had scheduled the next day. So I turned my notifications off on my phone. I don't get anything on my phone that notifies me of anything. 1, it drains your battery. And 2, we are already on Facebook all the time, that we also don't need to go check it out every single time our phone beeps. So I turn off notifications on my phone, and I think it's really, really important for everyone to set a schedule that works for them and then stick to it and respect that schedule, because you will get burned out if you decide that you need to work around the clock, and your family will start hating you and I see you have kids. So like, it's important that you have time that you're spending focused on your family and your kids, but then it's also important that you have focused hours that you work. And so I think what a lot of people say, like, well, I don't have any time. Well, then wake up early or stay up late. Like, I'm not saying take time away from being with your kids, but maybe lack of sleep is gonna, like, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Like Melanie Mitro, she would get up, I think, would she get up at like 4:30 or something, 5 a.m. every day. And she was a stay-at-home mom, but she had to do it before her kids got up. And then Danielle, my coach, she was a teacher, so she would get up at 4:30 every day and work her business in the morning. And then that way she would, go to work and then have her spend time with her family at night. So there might be some sacrifices. And like for me, there are sacrifices. I don't feel like I had to sacrifice a lot, but there were some things, because I don't have any kids. And I just had to make sure I got my husband on the same page. Like, this is why I'm doing this, and showing him like what Beachbody is about, because we see it, but they don't always get to see it. So bringing them in and being like, this is what it's about, and showing them things. And then the paychecks, of course, help. But letting him know and asking him for like, I'm going to need X amount of time to work this. But I know this is going to sound silly, but I really, really, really want to watch Game of Thrones, because everyone talks about how amazing it is. But I don't have the time to focus 100% on a TV show. And Game of Thrones is not a show where you can watch it and do something else. Like, you have to be fully committed to it. And so I've just never been able to watch it. So all my friends and my husband like talk about how great it is. And I'm like, well, cool. But I'm building a business and I'm building a future. And maybe at some point I will watch Game of Thrones. And I know that sounds dumb, but it's like, there are sacrifices you're going to have to make. But when you decide what your schedule is, just stick to it. And I also took the weekends off. For the first maybe 8 months, I still worked a little bit on the weekends, but now I don't. And everybody knows, my team knows, I don't respond to messages. I show up on social media. I'm always posting on social media every day, but I don't answer messages on my like page or in my team. I don't do anything and I don't schedule calls on the weekends. And like when people want to schedule calls in the evenings with me, I tell them no, because I have all day and I have a schedule and I am a CEO of $1 million brand and so are you. And a CEO decides when they're working and when they're not. They're not at the mercy of everything else. So that was a really long-winded answer to that, but I don't have a normal power hour, but that's what I did when I was working full-time.
I love that too. I love that you just kind of hit on the whole idea too. I think so many people, myself included, I think every single brand new coach and most coaches for a long period of time go through a period where they feel like if they don't respond to a person's message 5 seconds after they get the ding, then everything's going to go to hell and the world's going to end. And it's like, no, but it's hard to kind of get people, and it was hard for me to get to figure out that if a person's not here, if 24 hours later or 48 hours later, they're like no longer interested because you didn't get back to them in time. They were no longer interested. Like they were never interested. It was never there. They were never going to say yes. And even if they did, they were never going to commit. So it's irrelevant. But I love that you like such a great point.
If you're doing a good job of selling you, then they're coming to you to work with you. So there has been times over the 3 years or whatever that I've been working this business, there have been times where I don't respond to people in time and they come like, oh, I was so excited I went and ordered it on Amazon. That doesn't happen a lot. And it definitely doesn't happen as much anymore. Like the more I've been around, I think people, follow you for longer and longer. But it happened a little bit more in the beginning. But you have to be okay with that. That's a sacrifice that you're going to have to make to be in this for the long haul. To know that there are going to be some people that you might miss a few sales, but if you're doing a good job of showing the value of working with you, then you get less and less people wanting to go somewhere else because it's not about the program. It's really ultimately about working you. And another thing that I do that gets people want to work with me, I try not to use any Beachbody lingo on social media, and I hardly ever say the name of the program that I'm doing because I was the person that years ago, I would never, ever have reached out to a stranger and been like, tell me about this thing. If they said what they were doing, I would go Google it and I would do it myself. I would figure it out and do it on my own. I was way too insecure or nervous or whatever to reach out to a stranger and ask for help. So now, and I had a lot of people in the beginning when I started coaching that would be like, oh, I ended up ordering this and I had great results. Thank you. But they didn't go through me, right? So there's 2 reasons that I do it. 1 is I want people to go through me. And 2, a lot of times people will order something and then it just sits on their shelf because they don't have the support or the tools or anything to help them complete the program. So I don't usually ever say the name of the program either, which then gets people, I don't know what the word is, gets people to reach out to me because they want to know what it is I'm doing. So that's another thing that I would say to help. But anyway, know that there are going to be some people that order elsewhere and know that that's okay, but just your time and your sanity is more important than that one sale of a program,
Absolutely. Who else has questions?
I do. I would ask, what do you tell your coaches? So, we're all here to help inspire people, right? And we're all here to get them transformations and to feel good about themselves. But what do you say to those coaches that are that they're wanting to build a business, however, they're just in it to help people?
I don't think that that's true. There's a leadership group called The Wall, if you get 5-star or above. And there was a question in there the other day, and it was like, can you think of any successful coaches who don't have a financial why or like a time why or something like that? Like they just want to build a business for no reason. What was it? Man, I wish I could find that. And I was like, I feel like someone asked, like, well, what's her why? And she said, because she wants to help people. And my thought on that is that is not a strong enough why to weather the entrepreneurial storms. Because just wanting to help people, as soon as it gets tough or you miss that goal that you set or you get rejected or you get someone like making fun of you or whatever, you're going to be like, okay, peace out. It's not worth helping people. So what I had that very noble, like we all want to help people, right? But that was like my why in the beginning. But the reason I think it was my why was because I was so insecure that I thought that was like the right thing to say or something like that. When really if I like peeled it back, my why was I didn't believe that I added value in the world. So if I could help other people, then that was really helping me, like helping me believe in myself. And so if you're just wanting to help people, I think you have to dive deeper into why do you want to help people and why Beachbody? Because there is no way that someone just wants to help people is going to be in this for the long haul. I have a coach who has like the best heart ever, and she really, really does love helping people. Like she feels amazing value out of that. But also she is like, they live paycheck to paycheck, and she has a crazy background, and she has to like take care of her like siblings because her parents are drug addicts and all these things. So while she wants to help people, it's as she's diving more into it, she realizes like the freedom that this could provide for the family. So I think it takes some work to figure, like it took me a lot of work figuring out what my why was, but helping people is not a strong enough why. And I don't think that that's the route for anybody that really wants to make this work. Because you could help people without doing this. Like you could put together meal plans and share that with them and put up free videos. You could not be a coach and help people, but if you want to build a business, it's not just about helping people. There's something else. We just dive deeper into that. So whoever it was that says, I think you just need to, peel back some more layers and figure out what it really is that they're looking to get out of this.
Awesome. So anybody taking questions? 'Cause I've got more.
I've got a question.
Okay.
I'm just curious how you get your new coaches started. Like, what is your routine for somebody who's just signed up and they're ready to start doing something, but what do you do?
So I usually, something new that I started a few months ago I try to bring people on around the same time. So I do a 5-day mentorship group, and I work like closely with this group of people, and their first assignment, like the day one, is letting them know that this is just about them. Like their number one job is to get really good results, because no coach is going to be successful if they don't fall in love with the product. So it's our job to show them that like loving the products and getting great results is their first major priority. So that's what I do. And then I have like other things, like I talk to them about how to share, think about like documenting rather than like creating good content, just documenting their journey and sharing that. Talk to them a little bit about social media and stuff. They do that for 5 days, and then we run a clean eating group together. So it kind of gets their like invite in, just like gets that out there so that they start helping people with no obligation. So we run a 5-day clean eating group together, and then I have a 14-day self-led Smart Start that I do, and that's just in our team page. And when after they've done the 5-day mentorship, and I'll ask them who wants to continue, and then I'll tag them in that. And I don't run those groups anymore. I used to run 14-day Smart Starts, but now I just do it self-led because it was a lot of energy for me to run them, and the graduation rate's about the same of the people who join a group, like my 14-day group, and then complete it day 1 through day 14 are the same people that are going to do it on their own, because they just fall off if I'm running a group. And so now we just have it, and I have it in my whole team page so that my team can tag their people in it. And I have like some of my leaders have then transfer that, and they have it in their team page, so they don't tag all their coaches in mine. But that's what I do. And then I will set up a Getting Started Right, but I generally do a first week of the month, we do a Getting Started Right for all the new coaches. And after they have completed the 14-day Smart Start, and after they have listened to that Getting Started Right call, if they can't get on live, they listen to the replay, then I will set up a one-on-one call with them. But I don't do one-on-one calls anymore like right away, because they ask all the questions that are pretty much answered in that, either the recording or that they will learn in that 14-day training. So that's how I do it.
That's fantastic. Any other questions? Who else has something they want to ask? Deanna and Megan, or Nicole, did you too? Here, hold on a second. I'm gonna let Nicole ask. Did you have a question, Nicole?
Yes, I gotta find it. Hang on, I gotta find it. I wrote it down. Okay, hang on, I gotta find it. Okay, so one of the things that I think that I really appreciate in the very beginning, when you had mentioned just your very first photograph of your slide presentation, is about the then and then the now. And I find that when I am truthful and just expressing it's just, I mean, people will respond to that, or they'll I am me or something along those lines. I guess my question comes into the line of this. So when you have someone that is that then, you know, the depressed, you know, because I'm happy, I'm on Shakeology, I'm losing weight, I'm getting fit, I'm drinking, right? And I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my journey, my own journey. Then you have someone that comes into play that's sad and depressed, and they have no money for the challenge or anything like that. I personally am trying to, like, pretending to be the gardener where I'm just planting that seed slowly but surely, right? Just kind of gardening it and pulling out, you know, doing this. I guess my question is, it sounds like that's potentially something that you've done with people that you've brought up as well. And how long do you garden? That's my question. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I think so. I'll answer, and then let me know if I answered your question. And then if I didn't, then I didn't understand it. So we'll go from there. But
I guess the question really is, how long do you spend with someone that really is taking a lot of time,
as long as they need. I mean,
I understand that each individual is going to be an individual, and there's no really time limit. And, you know, and I'm kind of new to it as well, but I'm
just going to stop and then I cut you off. Okay, so the first thing is, I don't believe in the I don't have enough money excuse. I just don't believe it. And when someone says that to me, I read it as, I haven't followed you long enough yet. I don't trust you. I'm going to keep following you, and eventually I will invest. Like, I do not believe in the I don't have enough money excuse, because I think every single person has decided at some point, like, I have to have that. I know I can't afford it, but I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to take a payday advance. I'm going to put this on my credit card. I'm going to do whatever I have to get this thing. Like, people will spend money if they really, really want it. Everybody has done it. Every single person.
Yeah, it's their priorities, right?
Right, priorities. And so when someone tells me that they don't have money, I have to figure out, do they really not have money? And I'll do that because I do a lot of back and forth. Like, I spent 3 hours today going through 40 messages. And I thought, like, as I said it, because I put it on Snap, I was like, I probably could have gone faster than that. But I take a lot of time, like, getting to know people and uncovering, like, why they want to work with me and what their need is. So I spend a lot of time, like, getting to know people. And so I can kind of feel out, like, if they really don't have money or if they just don't trust me. And if they really don't have money, there are a million things. Like, Beachbody now has so many options. I can say, okay, well, you could do just the program without Shakeology. Or you can do, okay, if that doesn't work for you, what about if I'll have them do like 6 months of Beachbody On Demand, and Beachbody On Demand, you get a 40% commission, and I think it's like $60 or something for the 6 months. So then you get 40% of that, whatever that is. Is that a $20 commission? I don't know. Anyway, so you'll get a commission from that. If they still can't afford that, then there's 30 days of access for free to Beachbody On Demand. So if they really can't afford something, there is a free 30-day option, and then it's just, are they going to utilize it? Most people that I have had say, okay, I'll do the free 30-day option, don't really come back around because they're not really doing the programs anyway. So what I do when someone says that, I have my objection thing, like I have my scripts, what I will say to that objection, like based on the scenario. So I'll say like, okay, totally get it. Like, I didn't have money when I started either, blah, blah. And I might break it down with them and I'll say, does that help? And if they're like, I still can't afford it, then I'm like, I totally get it. How about this? Why don't you save up? I host these groups every month and I will save a spot for you whenever you're ready. And then I follow up with them. Like, they never go off my list. They have to block me, or they have to say like, leave me alone, you psycho, or something like that, for me to stop following up with them. And so there are people that I've been talking to for 3 years who still have not invested, but at some point they're going to be ready. And maybe they're not going to be ready with me, but maybe they're going to be ready because maybe I'm not the right coach for them. Maybe they want to get healthy, but they don't resonate fully with me. But then they start getting more in the Beachbody world and they see another coach that actually resonates with them and they join that group. I don't care. I just want them living their best life. So I'm going to follow up with it. And then they say, I joined another coach. So I'm like, awesome. That's great. Welcome to the Beachbody family. Best of luck. You know? And then I might stop following up with them, or I might go back 6 months later and be like, how's it going? Just to check in. because there are some coaches that suck and don't take care of their people. So I will check in with them. Oh yeah, I did a group with them and I didn't buy anything else, so they kind of, forgot about me or whatever. So then I'll step in and I'll talk to them. Well, have you reached out to see if you could join another group? Yeah, and they're just not really answering my messages. Cool. Well, I would be happy to help you. So I don't ever give up on people. It doesn't matter how long it takes them, but I think if they're giving you the money excuse, generally that's on me and it's on you to prove to them that that you're worth the investment. And if it really is a money excuse, there are solutions for them. So,
love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was awesome. Who else has a question? I know Megan and Deanna, you guys had questions. Megan?
Did anybody else have one? I didn't want to but I was wondering, so I seen on Facebook one time you went live and you were like, I'm super frustrated because of this or that, whatever the objection is. And I love that because I feel like that a lot of times, but then I never do it because a lot of times I feel like that because I just got off the message with someone that is so miserable and just beating themselves up. And they're like, oh, I don't have the money excuse. And I always want to do a post like that. And then I seen you do one. You were walking your dogs. I was just kind of curious, what your response has been to that, or do you do it right after you talk to someone? And you know what post I'm talking about. I think you've done.
No, because I do that all the time. I don't know what I thought I knew which one, but the one I was thinking you were talking about was when I was sitting in this chair. So I don't remember the one walking the dogs. But I do it right after I talk to someone. And actually, if I'm walking the dogs, usually it's because I just heard Gary Vee say something that reminded me of another conversation that I had, and then I say something. But I try to film it right away because then it's fresh in my brain. But my response is always really good. I might get unlikes. I might get people that don't follow me. But again, that's not my tribe then. But I just did a live video before I hopped on this talking about someone gave me the excuse today that she's worried about joining my boot camp because she doesn't think she has the space in her house. And I'm like, that's not what she's actually saying. What she's saying is, I don't think I'm going to be successful, or I'm afraid that I'm going to fail at this, but I'm just going to mask it as I don't have the space. So I talked about that today, about how people are making excuses and that's why they're not being successful. But if I turn some people off, then those are not my people. So I don't care. The response is really good. And I can't really say after every video that more, I don't know. I just know that the longer I do this, the more close I get to my people, to the tribe that really understands me, who I want to work with. So I never think about how are people going to receive this. I just think about is this true for me, and will this benefit other people? Because there are other people out there who are making those same excuses that make no sense. And so the response I think has been good, in that I get a lot of messages from people over the months or whatever saying I watch your videos, I love how real you are. And it's so funny when people say that, because I'm well, I don't know any other way to be. But on the same side, it took me a long time to be okay with who I was. Yeah. So I get why people say I love how real you are, but I literally don't know any other way to be, because doing personal development, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with who you are and putting that stuff out there. I will say, I think, who was it? I listen to all these calls and stuff, and I get everything mixed up. I don't know who said this, but someone said, I think it was in the Beachbody Challenge page. Emily Kirby said something you don't have to have a lot of energy. I'm extroverted and I have a lot of energy, which I think people are more attracted to, high energy. You don't have to do that, but you're not, I want you to be who you are. But if you were to get on a live video and I was just talking monotone and I was really insecure and I just wanted to show you guys this thing, this has been really helpful for me. That's not inspiring anybody, you know what I'm saying? So you have to amp up your level. So take some pre-workout or do jumping jacks or something. You want people to be interested in your video. So be you, but be you that's entertaining. So that people watch your stuff. You don't have to be crazy and me. You don't have to be like that, but just be excited about things. And then you're going to get people that aren't going to like you. And that's fine, because you're not here to make everybody like you. You're just here to live your best life and share that with people and inspire them to live theirs. So anyway, yeah, that's my answer to that.
Thank you.
Be you, but be entertaining. That was,
Well, do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. I totally know
I
what
have
you're
some
saying.
coaches on my team that go live, and I'm like, oh, like they'll post in my team page, and I can't even watch it because it is such a snooze fest. And so, and I know that in person, they're a lot more lively than that. So it's just that they're like insecure or unsure of themselves on video. But that comes across, and nobody wants to invest $140 with someone who doesn't believe in themselves because they don't believe in themselves. They need someone who believes in themselves, or at least is faking it, so that they can help show them that they can believe in themselves too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to spend $140 with someone who lacks confidence because I already lack confidence. So I'm going to spend $140 with someone who has confidence so they can show me how to be confident.
Yeah,
You know? Yeah, be cartoon self. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Be you. Yes, and Jennifer, be you 10X. Yeah. So be you, but you be like a little more uppity.
Babe, Downey, did you have a...
I don't know. You've answered a lot of awesome things that do you have that paper next to you of things that we've written down for our push group?
Yes, I do.
So I actually do have a quick question, and then I want to respect your time because I don't want to take up any more time, but I'm actually thinking about questions that a lot of coaches have sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of trying to keep them generic enough that will kind of resonate with a lot of people. Yeah. So I know as a new coach, you know, their fear is I don't want to be salesy, right? And I can talk all day about, well, then don't. You know, be you. You need to share your journey, not share like, here's my Shakeology. Let me kiss it. You know. So, but what do you say to coaches when they're like, oh, I just don't want to be salesy. I don't know about this.
I mean, I say the same thing. Like, then don't, because I'm not here to sell anything. Like, I feel like you just want to talk to people like they're people. And so again, I think maybe it's just changing your mindset of like, I'm not desperate for people to say yes to me. There are enough people out there that I know want my help, that I will like hit the goals. Like I will hit Success Club and whatever. I'm just not desperate. And if I'm talking to enough people, then it's fine. But when someone says like, oh, you're trying to sell something, I just feel like it's not true because I'm just sharing literally the thing that saved my life. I didn't sign up for this and then decide to love the products. I signed up because I love the products. And it's the same as like if you go to a movie and you love the movie and then you tell people about it, or you love a restaurant and you tell people like, you gotta go to this restaurant. I just look at it as the same thing. Like it was something that has helped me in some way or that I love, and I'm just advocating for it. I'm not offended if they don't jump on board. And so I feel like the way to not sell things is to really believe in our products and in what we're doing. And I truly think that like because this saved my life and changed everything about my life, I really, really believe in it. Like if you don't believe in Shakeology, you need to figure out a way to believe in it or stop being a coach, because you're going to get a ton of objections about that. And I didn't believe in Shakeology at first, so I did that challenge. I did a 30-day thing where I said I'm going to drink this every single day. And that way I had my own testimony to it. And I did a lot of research. If you don't believe in Shakeology, listen to the Darren O'Lean Shakeology podcast and just watch Carl Deichler YouTube, like whatever it is, you got to believe in our stuff. And you need to also start a program, like do it every day, do a program start to finish and believe, like get results and transformations, follow our meal plans, like believe in our products. And then you don't have to sell anything. People buy from me all the time. I don't feel like I sell ever because I'm just sharing what I love. And if they buy from me, great, I will help them. And if they don't, then that's okay too. So I think it's just a mindset shift of feeling like you're putting a lot of pressure on conversations or that you have to sell things, when really if you just lead with passion and loving our products, and then if you think about just documenting that and remembering to put out there that you can help people, that like, it's not just you on your journey, that you do have groups that you can plug, like remembering to talk about that sometimes so that people know that you can help them. But I just don't put any pressure on any of my conversations that I have with people, because I know I'm sitting on a gold mine. Whether they want the treasure map to my gold is up to them. I can just talk about how great the gold is, So I think it's a mindset shift more than anything. is to feel like if someone says I'm a salesperson, it's the same as if they called me a redhead. Like, it's just not true. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't, it just does not, it's just not a fact. So I'm okay. If someone thinks that I'm a salesperson, they're probably a hater that is going to be following me and a year from now is going to ask me for help. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a mindset shift, I guess, is the only thing I can say.
I love it.
I have one more question, and then maybe we should wrap up unless anybody has any other questions. What do you, so when you're talking to a new coach or maybe even an established coach that is really wanting to build a business, they're wanting to stay home with their family, you know, they work full time, they want to come home.
Yes.
What would you tell them they need to do at minimum every day? Like, you know, conversation wise or invitation wise or growing your network or whatever that looks like.
I think that number one is they need to be really focused on their journey and they need to be more focused on their physical journey than they are on growing a business. Because if you do not have results in this business and you do not love our products and you're not following them and using them, you're not going to be able to grow. Like, you're just not going to be able to grow. So I think I would tell them, number one is work on yourself first. You've got to do the 4 vitals. You have to do a workout from start, do a program start to finish, drink your shake every single day. You need to document about that. You need to talk to people and have conversations, and you need to work on personal development and then recognize people. And sometimes when you're a brand new coach, you don't have like, you know, challengers or coaches to recognize, but you can go out to someone's page, just a friend of yours, and compliment them or like give them praise on any, like you can recognize people who aren't involved with Beachbody at all just by loving on somebody. So I would say like work on yourself first, but then do the 4 vital behaviors. And that's really like, it's not a secret. This business is not a secret. And one thing that I wanted to say a while ago and I forgot to say it, I've been thinking a lot lately about like, why did I make it to where I am without help? Like, because now being an elite coach, I realize that it's hard to get there, especially because I've had a tough year. Like I haven't really grown very much. My business hasn't really grown much this year. So I've had kind of a tough year and I've just thought like, why is it hard? And I think it's why aren't more people doing this? And I think it's because like, actually I think it's a blessing that I didn't have a coach that helped me through this because I didn't know how hard it was. I just saw other people doing it. And I thought, well, if they can do it, why not me? Like I literally thought, well, this is going to happen for me. Like I never, ever doubted it. So then I would listen to calls and trainings and then I would do action. I was very coachable and I didn't have a coach, but I had all the wake up calls. So I would just listen to what they said was working for them. And I was really coachable and I would apply those things. And it never occurred to me like, maybe I can't do this. I always just thought, however long it takes me, I'm going to be a millionaire one day with this business. I'm going to be a superstar. Like and I remember when we were at Summit 2 years ago, I think, the first year that it was in Nashville, Melanie Mitchell was the top coach and they were announcing all the numbers. They announced like your elite points. And she had like the number 2 person was like double the number 3 person. I remember when we got to number 2, I think maybe it was Lindsay Matway that year or something. And it was like, oh my God, that's insane. That's so crazy. And then they announced Melanie's points and she had like 2,300 elite points, which I'm sure some of you guys don't know what that means. Like it's a crap ton. And like I, for example, have right now like 150 elite points. Like she had 2,200 something elite points for a year. And my thought was, I thought like, of all these people in this stadium, there are some people that are like, wow, it's amazing. How did she do that? And then there's another half of people that are like, wow, that's amazing. I could do that. And I was one of those people who thought like, I can do that. So I think you have to decide that you can do this. Like I just never told myself the story that this wouldn't work for me. There were times it was hard and I doubted it, right? But there was never a time where I was like, this won't work for me. I can't do this. I just really, really believed it. And so I think if there's a coach that is new or established and wants to make this their full-time thing, you have to, 1, do all the vital behaviors, and 2, work on yourself and, you know, really do the journey. And then 3, just like you have to change your mindset of thinking like it's too hard. And I think that because I didn't have a coach or a team to compare myself to or I didn't have any of that, I just was on my journey. And I was just like, plugging away doing that. I was doing my workouts and drinking my shakes and doing personal development and sharing it on social media. And then people were coming to me and asking for help. So then I helped them, and then they loved it. And then they wanted to help people. Like I didn't build my business by talking about coaching. I just built my business on loving our products and then showing other people that they could love products too. So I think that that's really what it is like, you have to decide in your mind that you can do this no matter what, because there's a lot of people who struggle with confidence. And I think that like visualizing it and knowing like if Melanie can do it, if Melanie can get 2,200 successful points and recruit 300 coaches in a year, why can't anybody else do it? I'm not willing to work as hard as she is. That's probably why, like any coach that you're comparing yourself to, I think about that too a lot. Like if I want to compare myself to Bonnie Engel, who started after me and is clearly majorly successful, like why am I not as successful as Bonnie? Well, I watched a call and she works 80 hours a week and I'm not willing to do that. So I'm not going to be as successful as Bonnie. So I'm not comparing, like that's apples to oranges, right? It's not apples to apples. So if you're comparing yourself or you start getting down on yourself, whatever, I think you just, I feel like a theme of this call is just your mind is the most powerful thing you own. And as soon as you can get in control of your thoughts, then the rest is gravy. But your mind is like, tells you all these lies all the time. And that's why personal development and facing your fears and getting out of your comfort zone is so important, because that is what retrains your brain to think differently. I have such long-winded answers, but yeah, that is what I would say to a new coach who wants to come home.
You're so dead on too with that. It's like, it's funny because, Deanna and I've had a lot of opportunity to talk to a lot of successful coaches like yourself. And the one thing that we have seen that is the only similarity between every single one of them, now you included, every single one of them, the only thing that they had that was similar or dead on similar was the fact that every single one made a decision. Like they all knew without question of a doubt that it was going to work. It wasn't maybe kind of it. Just like you said, it was 100%. It will work. I will do this. That's it. And I honestly believe that that's I think that's probably the most powerful thing. Like what you're saying is once you reach that time, whatever it is that shifts that in your mind where you actually say, oh shit, I really can. Like this is absolutely achievable. Everything from that point forward changes.
Yeah.
And then you end up where you are and where these other, coaches are, or where Melanie is, Yeah. So you're so dead on. I love it. Any other questions, guys, before we let you guys all go to your night? And we don't steal any more of Ashley's time. Any other questions? Okay. Alrighty then. Well, hey everybody, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your night. Ashley, that was absolutely amazing, as always, right? It was absolutely amazing. I honestly believe that it's exactly what so many people needed to hear right now. So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate your time. Can we all give Ashley a big round of applause real quickly?
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yay. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yes, thank you. So you guys all have a fantastic night, and we will see you guys all very soon. Good night, everybody.
Bye.